right now, some issues that I'm running into are, I see this as a positive thing, and that's just not how I like to do YouTube. I like to do YouTube in a way that I enjoy doing it. I do want to talk about some personal reasons. I do have some nitpickers. I am announcing my departure. I know some people really don't like it when people do this, but it's something that I want to do, so I hope that you will hear me out. It may seem contradictory, but the reason I'm doing this is actually because I love YouTube so much and I like making videos so much, and this is why. So in this video, I'm going to share why I'm taking a break from YouTube. It's important for me to share why. There's going to be some personal reasons as to why I'm taking a break, and I'm going to give somewhat of a timeline. The first thing I want to say is that I have promised some car camping videos from this summer, and those are still happening. They just will not be released immediately. Like, they're not going to be released this summer, at least not at the very beginning of the summer. And I don't think that this should come as like too much of a big surprise to the people who have been following me, because I have alluded to this in my other videos. For example, in this video out in the desert, I talked about how I was returning to my job and my responsibilities, and I'm actually surprised that I've managed to get out the videos that I have, because I was originally planning on taking a break at this time, but I reached my goal of 1,000 subscribers, which I did not think that I would do, and I was so excited, and I was like, well, I just want to go ahead and try and, you know, reach the 4,000 watch hours. And so I sort of have been pushing myself too, because I'm like, well, I want to meet that goal, but it's really becoming clear, like, in my life, that it's time to slow down, because I am really just struggling to get enough sleep. I'm really kind of wearing down, and it's just not realistic. A lot of the issues that I'm running into, they just have to do with having a full-time job and trying to do YouTube. There's a lot of challenges that come with that, and I'm not saying it's impossible. I do think it's possible. I think it's a workable situation. Some people do work full-time and have successful YouTube channels, and that's certainly my goal right now. But I'm not going to be able to operate my channel like I was when I was on vacation, and I was just, you know, making videos and scheduling them, and that was so fun. I loved it. But unfortunately, that just is not realistic for me right now. So I am going to have to restructure how I get videos out, and that's going to take some time. But I want this to be an optimistic video, because I do believe that I am making a step forward and not backwards. And the reason for this is because of history. I'll explain what I mean by that in just a moment. Excuse me. But first, I want to just give a little bit of a context. I like to think about this in terms of seasons. Did you all just like grow up watching TV shows? Like, I don't know, I'm just trying to think of a random show I would watch when I was like a little tiny kid, like Growing Pains. Okay, Growing Pains, or Full House or something. And there were seasons to that show, and your season would end, and then there was a break, and then it would start up again. And that's sort of like what I have come to here. I would like to like show some history in my channel. And now I would say that the current season that we are in, I would say the season really ended with my last video, where I was doing the car camping out with the Northern Lights. That is where the season ended. And where the season began, I would say, would be probably around here, like in this video. Now, there were a few videos before that, but I had taken a lot of videos down. I have taken a lot of those videos down prior to the beginning of this season, because I really was not personally happy with those videos. I don't think I was in the best place filming them, and I don't think that they really offered anything to my audience. And so I took them down. And I think it's important to realize that during this time in here where you didn't see videos from me, I was working very hard behind the scenes. I was working overtime so that I could afford some of the things that I used in my car to go on my road trip. I was saving up for my road trip. I was listening to podcasts. I was researching how to level up YouTube, and my hard work, it paid off. because I reached my goal of 1,000 subscribers. I also received a lot of really positive feedback from you all. Really positive feedback about how you could tell a difference in my videos. You could really tell that there was a difference. You complimented me, you congratulated me on the quality of my videos. And that was sort of that was just a feedback that felt really good, because that's how I felt inside. Because I felt like, wow, I worked really hard on this and I can see the progress. And not only that, but people are noticing it. So that was a very special to me. And I learned an important piece of information from that time. And so I feel like right now I'm kind of getting to the point where I was back here, where I'm coming to a time where I need to pause. I'm not saying like pause, I still go car camping. I still do live my life and my leisure things, but going car camping by myself and filming it, there's just two very different situations. One is recreation and one is more of a work thing. It really is, to be honest. I enjoy it. I love it. It's an amazing break from my other work, but it is a form of work. And so I feel like right now I'm coming to a point where, and let me just say that most of these issues are stemming from just having a full-time job. I think that a lot of these issues that I'm mentioning, if I were not working full-time, I would probably just work and resolve alongside of it. And I'm not complaining about having a full-time job. I honestly feel very blessed to have the full-time job that I have. And I don't think that I would have had the success I've had on YouTube so far if I didn't have this job. Because my YouTube channel really did start doing better after I could invest more into it. Okay, regroup. Yes, so not to complain about the full-time job, but it is a reality. And I'm not going to I'm not going to just not talk about not having a full-time job just to not mention it, because it's just a fact. I just don't have the time I would like to dedicate to YouTube. And it's not a complaint, but it's just reality, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. It is what it is. Right now, some issues that I'm running into are technology. I really need to level up my technology. My phone, I never know when it's just gonna die out. It has like these streaks on it, these like hyperpixel streaks. And I just like, every morning when I look at my phone and it turns on, I just sigh in relief. And it's not that I can't get a new phone. I can get a new phone, but every time I go and I get footage, then I'm like, okay, I don't want to get a new phone because now I'm going to have this footage and it's going to be a mess. So at a certain point, I just am going to have to stop filming for a little while, and I'm going to have to update my technology. My workflow, it just needs to be adapted to suit me working full time. An example of this is going to have like SD cards where I can store footage and then edit like in batches, because sometimes I might have time to do YouTube, but it could be pouring down rain outside and so I can't go car camping. Or let's say I have time but I'm sick. And they're just like various factors where I have to have more flexibility, and a lot of that has to do with technology. And it takes time. It takes time to even just simply getting a new phone to film on. That takes time to figure out your new phone. You have to, it takes time. It takes time. So I need to deal with that and get that squared away. And as far as a timeline, I think that from now it will be at least a month before another video posts. And to be honest, I think that month, that is the very least. I think we're looking probably at a couple months at least. If it's more than 3 months, I probably will make an update on my community tab. Just to reiterate, I see this as a positive thing. I see it as, I want to improve my YouTube so much. I want to do YouTube so badly that I feel like this is a necessary step to move forward. Because what I'm doing now, it's sort of this tactic, if you will, of going fishing. Okay, you go catch the fish, you get all your equipment, you catch the fish, you clean the fish, you cook the fish. And it's just not a realistic time flow from week to week. and I just need to be able to have like more flexibility. And a part of that is getting time back on my side, because right now time is just sort of the essence, and that's just not how I like to do YouTube. I like to do YouTube in a way that I enjoy doing it, and I don't enjoy the stress of having to do something at a certain time and having to finish an edit because I have to get the footage off of my phone so that I can do X, Y, Z. And that works for me okay when I was like, just on vacation out in the desert, but it's just not, it would ruin YouTube for me, I feel like. And to keep making this a fun thing that I love doing, to keep it my passion, to keep car camping as my passion, I think that I need to take a step back and be a little bit more intentional about how I'm moving forward. So the content, it isn't necessarily changing. I'm still working on the same things I was planning to, but the timeline will be a little bit different. And now I do want to talk about some personal reasons why I'm doing this. And I know that, some people might say, well, you don't have to say that or whatever, but I want to. It's my channel and I want to. And also, a lot of you are like, I consider like friends. You've been around for a while, you show up for me, and even the silent ones who watch my videos and show up, you still show up. And so it's something that I want to do. I want to explain some of the personal reasons. Okay, like one personal reason is right now my dad is in the hospital and he's okay, and I think he's making steps in the right direction to go home. I can't be there physically with my family, so I want to be there emotionally as possible. So that means that I want to have more control over where I am. Like a lot of these places I go off to car camp, they are places without a lot of cell service, and I just want to not put myself into a corner of where I'm not emotionally available for my family. So that is part of it. Another reason is there's some emotional reasons why for me and YouTube, I feel like it's better for me to schedule videos in advance. Now, my subscribers are amazing people, and I love this community so much. I do have some nitpickers, okay? I have some nitpickers, and it's nothing really new, but this tends to affect me a lot more when I have a fresh video out. Like, let's say, for example, I go and I film a video on Saturday, I edit it on Saturday and Sunday, and then I try and put it up like Thursday or something. Well, by the time those people are nitpicking me in my video and saying, we don't care about this, or we don't want to see this, or you shouldn't be on YouTube, or, doing all this stuff, that can affect my emotional health more. I've noticed when it's like fresh, but I noticed that like when I was making videos before, when I was on my vacation, I just had all those videos when I was out in the desert, and I would get comments, like let's say I would get negative comments. It was just better for my emotional health to have already moved on. Like by the time those people were commenting on my videos, I already had a new microphone. Like somebody was complaining maybe about, I don't know, something, and like I had already resolved that issue, and I had gotten new equipment, and I'd moved on, and I dealt with it, and I could just gracefully be like, yeah, thank you so much for letting me know, I've improved this. And it's just so much better for you psychologically, I think, to have already moved on. Or if somebody says, well, you don't really have anything to talk about, so you shouldn't be on YouTube. Well, by the time they made that comment, I've already produced like 7 videos, and they're, all in my YouTube library, they're scheduled. And so maybe, yeah, I could kind of say, yeah, maybe this video was a little bit boring, but I know since then I've leveled up and I've done all this stuff. And so just psychologically, it's just a lot better for me just to more live in the present and the future. Because when you just make like a video and then you just release it, I feel like emotionally it's just not as healthy for me. I can't tell you how much more emotionally healthy it feels to me to work ahead, and you have space between your first of all, for safety reasons, it is a lot safer for your physical safety, but I think really your emotional well-being is very critical. And for me, I just find that's something that really helps me. And I would really like to get back to that place. Now, I can't replicate that kind of schedule because I'm working full time, but I can put the odds in my favor by taking the time to kind of set up my shop, so to speak. So I can, I can set things up. Like, let's say you have a shop and you don't have all your stuff organized, and then a bunch of customers come in and then you get overwhelmed and it's too much. But if you take the time to put the checks in place where things are organized, where you have a plan, where if this machine goes out, you have a backup, then that's gonna really reduce the stress. And so I think that's where I am right now, is I want to get back to a place where I feel happy and I feel peaceful about doing YouTube, because it's just getting to the point. I want to make this is a positive video, so I want it to be positive. But I've had some really late nights where getting like 4 hours of sleep, and I've just been really pushing myself. And I guess you could say, well, why don't you just put out like one video a month? And that does sound like kind of a good idea, but it's just not always like realistic when you're still working with the same playbook. So I really just want to step aside and level up some of my stuff and come back in a better place. And so I will be working really hard behind the scenes. I think it's kind of like when you watch a football game. Do you ever think about like those people, like let's say you have a football team like the Packers. I'm just throwing that out because I'm looking at green grass and I'm thinking Green Bay. You have the Packers, okay? They're playing football, like you're seeing them playing football like on the TV and stuff. But you have to think about what they're doing when they're not on that TV screen. You have to think about what they're doing when it's not even football season. What are they doing? They're training. And I think for YouTube, there's a process of training. Some of it is not as obvious. Like big YouTubers might have like teams, they can outsource people to edit videos, to do things for them where they can run their business easier. But when you're a smaller channel and you're doing it all by yourself, it is more obvious, I think, when you are trying to kind of work behind the scenes. And I hope that makes sense. So yes, I feel like right now I am entering that phase where I'm not stopping, but I do need to step back and work behind the scenes so that I can make the scenes as successful for myself and just for people watching, so that it's helpful and it's fruitful and that they're positive and uplifting videos. I don't want to like mask like hard times when they happen. I don't want to be deceptive in that way, but I do want to put my best foot forward. And so I think that this is the best decision for me right now. It was a hard decision. I really wrestled with this, but I think in order to be successful at my job and in my personal life, I have my responsibilities, and to my YouTube community, I really think that this is the best decision for me right now. So I will still be filming videos and working behind the scenes. They just will not be released for a while. Thank you so much for listening. And yes, it will be a little while before I film again, but I really think that when I come back, it will be good. And I hope that I can catch you all up on what has been going on. Till then, bye.